Welcome to the Street Cred podcast by BidExecs, where we highlight small businesses with big missions and even bigger capabilities. I'm your host, Elizabeth, and today we're excited to welcome Insight Transportation Consulting, or Insight, to the show. What transportation forecast didn't just predict the future, but it helped build it? That's what Insight Transportation Consulting delivers, forecasting with accuracy, context, and credibility. As a small business, Insight delivers outsized impact through travel demand modeling, data-driven planning, and transparent communication that empowers public agencies to invest smarter. They're the team you call when your agency does not want just a forecast, but a forecast that you can trust. Here to introduce Insight is Dave Schmidt, Executive Vice President of Insight. Dave, welcome.
Thanks, Elizabeth. At Insight, we're planners, engineers, data scientists, and communicators. We're a certified small business with project work spanning coast to coast. We have supported metropolitan planning organizations, also called MPOs, departments of transportation, and federal agencies in regions like Florida, California, Georgia, and the Midwest. Our team combines deep technical knowledge with a strong understanding of federal policy and planning processes, making us a trusted partner for agencies looking for both subject matter expertise and small business agility. At Insight, we combine small business agility with national level modeling expertise. We're not just modelers, we're trusted partners who help agencies turn data into confident decisions. Our work spans the full life cycle of forecasting, building models, quantifying accuracy, integrating real-world data, and helping agencies make better decisions. As I mentioned, we work coast to coast, from Florida's CFRPM to California's Link 21. It's our commitment to evidence-based planning, and we do that by focusing on four things. 1, behavior-based modeling. 2, accuracy testing with post-project validation. 3, policy-relevant data analysis. 4, clear, decision-oriented communication.
So Dave, what I'm hearing is that Insight brings the speed of a small business, but the credibility of a national research firm. And that's a rare combo. But before we dive into those areas, I would love to hear from each member of your team directly. Ashu, let's start with you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. My name is Ashu Kumar. My background is in transportation system engineering and travel modeling. I work at the intersection of planning and data science, thereby helping our clients improve the accuracy and transparency of forecasts. I founded Insight in 2021. This week, we are celebrating our 4th-year anniversary. With the Insight team here, I'm excited to talk more about how we use data and tools to support smarter planning decisions, staying true to our tagline, build and shape the future with Insight.
Congratulations on your anniversary of starting your company. And thank you for sharing your background and experience with us. You guys represent a solid team of experts, and having worked with Insight over the years, I know that every member of your team represents this sector with excellent knowledge as well as background. Let's dive into Insight's capabilities and learn a little bit more. I want to start with travel demand model development and application.
Absolutely. In my opinion, modeling is where a lot of heavy lifting happens. It's where everything gets reconciled, passed via data and surveys, the present to which we inform our tools about, and the future where the proposed transportation system or the network comes into play. That's the fun part, and I can tell you it's also challenging. Our team at Insight builds and refines models that reflect actual travel behavior. We have applied macro demand modeling procedures like 4-step and activity-based modeling methods. We have also used tools like Viso, QBoiser, Transcad, STOPS at a more localized level, such as for intersection or sub-area analysis. We have used tools like Synchro, Vissim, and other SCM methods to understand the network efficiency. I have worked on models for South Florida, Atlanta, Bay Area, to name a few, and each project is different. Now, what's common is the need for calibrated, flexible model that integrates land use, pricing, transportation service levels, and socioeconomic changes. There is also a need for models that can be explained in a way that us stakeholders trust. This work we do at Insight directly supports the goals of FSWA. The federal mandate calls on MPOs and DOTs to compare the forecast they have produced with observed outcomes. And this helps develop best practices to improve travel demand modeling across the country. Now, Insight brings real-world relevance to technical modeling, whether we are helping MPOs adapt their models to observed behavior or improve decision-making confidence. For example, we don't give you one forecasted number. We give you a range that reflects real-world uncertainty. We understand the importance of building tools that aren't just technically sound, but also policy relevant and ready for agency adoption.
Thank you, Ishu. And Haley, would you introduce yourself?
Thanks, Elizabeth. My name is Haley Amundsen. I'm a senior transportation analyst here at Insight. My background is in transportation planning and analysis, with a strong focus on data analysis and integration, visualization, and socioeconomic analysis. I've been with Insight since 2023, and I'm looking forward to sharing how we help agencies translate complex data into actionable insights.
Wow, you guys have such a powerhouse team. And we have one more expert with us. Sujit?
Thanks, Elizabeth. I'm Sujit Rapolu. I'm a senior project manager here at Insight. My expertise is in travel demand modeling, forecasting, systems engineering, and performance measurement. I work with a range of tools and agencies to assess and improve forecast reliability. I've been with Insight since early 2022, just a few months after Ashu started the company. I'm glad to be here today to talk about the work we do to help agencies make smarter data-driven infrastructure decisions.
All right, let's get into the details of what government buyers, program managers, and small business offices and your primes and subs want to know. To help you relax, because people get so serious, I'm going to set the stage for you. Let's assume you're invited to the Federal Highway Administration to tell them why they should do business with Insight. Let's dig into it. Insight has earned a reputation for its forecast accuracy and uncertainty analysis work. Sujit, that's your lane.
Absolutely. We at Insight have focused on the question of how close our forecasts come to reality. We do that using reproducible R and Python scripts to automate post-project validation. There are no more black boxes, no more one-off spreadsheets. We supplement those with interactive dashboards to communicate our findings. For a major transit agency on the West Coast, we developed custom dashboards that allowed planners to evaluate scenario-level accuracy against observed transit and highway demand shifts. For an MPO in the Midwest, we are evaluating the accuracy of traffic forecasts for projects that opened over the past 10 to 15 years. We are deploying AI tools to help extract data from over 400 traffic forecasting reports.
Wow, thank you for that. The experiences you shared certainly validate Insight's capabilities. Let's shift our focus to the data integration and visualization, which, Haley, I know is your specialty.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Even the best model depends on the quality of its data and how that data is visualized. I specialize in geospatially integrating land use, population, employment, and mobility data to ensure forecasts are reflecting where people live and travel. We also develop visual tools that translate complex data, especially around socioeconomics, access, and post-construction impacts, into actionable insights. During our work with a large metropolitan planning organization in the Midwest, we integrated socioeconomic indices into a custom dashboard that mapped demographic sensitivity against capital investments. This allowed planners to better communicate who benefits from the new infrastructure. By supporting MPOs, like one in the Southeast, we're helping advance FHWA's goals of improving travel demand models across the country.
And that's so important. It's interesting to see the work on the regional level that contributes to the federal level. And we're learning so much about Insight's work, and awesome. I want to shift again, and let's take our discussion to your capabilities in technical communication and stakeholder engagement, which so many small businesses struggle with. Dave, I want to go back to you on this one.
We believe that good modeling is only valuable if it's communicated clearly. Our team has presented to FHWA, FTA, and MPO boards around the country. We write guidance documents, create user manuals, and train staff on how to use the tools we develop. For example, we develop training materials and technical documentation used by MPOs participating in FHWA modeling improvement initiatives. We delivered hands-on tools designed to help practitioners apply forecast accuracy metrics drawn from FHRP Report 934. These engagements align directly with FHWA's goals in the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law to enhance forecasting transparency, improve usability, and support the planning process under the United States Code, Sections 134 and 135 and Chapter 23. We're also experienced in cross-agency facilitation, bringing together planners, modelers, engineers, and executives to align technical goals with policy outcomes. What sets us apart is that we just don't convene diverse voices, we actually help them work together efficiently. Our team is adept in translating highly technical modeling output into policy-relevant insights that inform decisions at every level. That ability to bridge the gap between analysis and actionable strategy is part why our work sticks and why agencies call us back. And it's not just what we do, it's how we make it usable for others.
Thanks, Dave. That's a great overview of insight-specific capabilities. Let's talk about how agencies today are using spatial and economic modeling to inform major policy decisions. What types of questions do your clients bring to the table? And how do you approach building models that can answer them credibly?
That's a great question. Agencies today are asking more strategic and policy-driven questions. For example, they're asking, what will this investment do to mode shift? Is the proposed alternative most beneficial and most efficient? They're asking, how will travel patterns respond to changes in land use, changes in pricing, and changes in telecommute behavior? And I can tell you, they are also increasingly asking, how can we quantify and communicate uncertainty around the forecasts that we develop? We start by grounding every model in real-world behavior and the local context. That means drawing from robust local data coming from sensors, traffic counts, ridership data, as well as local and regional economic indicators. Just as important is the need to document those assumptions on things like land use and transportation service level assumptions. And to validate models, we have aligned with US DOT's best practices for forecast, transparency, and scenario testing, especially for agencies seeking federal grants. Our models are flexible enough to test a range of future outcomes and include tools for communicating outcomes to stakeholders clearly. Ultimately, our goal is to give agencies tools that are decision-ready and adaptable, not just static spreadsheets. Finally, I want to say that forecasting should be a strategic asset, not just a compliant exercise.
How do you balance rigor and usability in your models? I would imagine some of your end users are economic and analysts, but others may be policy decision makers and program leaders that don't have that technical background.
That's something we think about regularly. The Insight team builds our models to be methodologically robust, well-documented, transparent, and backed by tested assumptions, producing outputs that link directly to planning and policy questions. A lot of our success comes from being able to sit down with both technical staff and policy leadership to translate the findings in a way that fits their roles. We always ask, what decisions are you trying to make? And how can we apply the data to work for you most applicably? This approach helps bridge the gap between advanced modeling and real action and decision-making.
Haley, that's fascinating. I want to get a little bit into that spatial modeling. What role does geospatial analytics play into your work, particularly when you're trying to estimate the economic impact of transportation investment or infrastructure program?
Geospatial analysis is central to our work. It's the foundation of a lot of the data we use. When modeling the impact of a transportation investment, it's not just about what's being built. It's about where it's being built and who it serves. We use spatial tools to link project locations with demographic trends, employment hubs, travel behaviors, and land use patterns. For example, in a recent transit corridor study, we used geographic information systems-based socioeconomic mapping to assess how changes in accessibility would affect marginalized communities. Now, this analysis not only informed economic impact assessments, but also advanced federal mobility goals, giving agencies the evidence they need to prioritize projects that are both data-driven and community-focused, which is a perfect sweet spot between data and people-focused.
Absolutely. And you mentioned working with diverse stakeholders, agencies, primes, subcontractors. And for federal listeners who may be evaluating teeny partners right now, what would you say makes Insight a strong partner for enterprise-level modeling efforts?
Great question. While Sujit spoke to our technical tools earlier, I'd like to add what makes Insight a strong teaming partner is how we operate across multiple stakeholder layers. We've got technical teams, we've got policy staff, and contracting partners. We've led and supported federal and regional projects where success meant much more than getting the model right. It meant delivering on schedule, coordinating with multiple agencies, and aligning to partner strategies. We bring not only technical credibility, but also the communication and collaboration skills necessary for complex multi-entity programs, and that's what makes us reliable and low risk in high visibility efforts. We've worked with both primes and subs on federally funded initiatives, and we understand how to align our tools and documentation with agency requirements and partner workflows. We're used to coordinating across different disciplines, economists, planners, engineers, and making sure that everyone has what they need to move the project forward. That's what makes us just not a technical vendor, but a true delivery partner.
I see opportunities beyond borders, and I know you guys have also been thinking about global impact. Can you talk a little about the role modeling and infrastructure planning that might play into international development or post-conflict reconstruction?
Absolutely. In international development and post-conflict recovery, infrastructure planning must go beyond rebuilding. It should drive economic recovery as well as long-term resilience. In these contexts, reliable data is often scarce. That's why we use adaptable modeling approaches that leverage econometrics, proxy indicators, open source data, and scenario testing to gain insight even in the absence of complete data. It's about using the best available tools to guide resilience and comprehensive planning when it's needed most. The key is adaptability, local context. We heard that before. Working in the United States, it's incredibly diverse, whether it's a regional change, demographic change, or travel behavior. We have lots of experience with making adaptable models. We have experience adjusting frameworks to new environments, and we're able to build models that reflect the specific goals of recovery, such as reactivating economic corridors, prioritizing transportation economics, and stability from the outset. What excites me is the potential for models to become not just tools for forecasting, but blueprints for rebuilding, both intuitively and resiliently.
Where do you see Insight heading next? Are there mission areas or federal partners that you're particularly excited to work with in the coming years?
We're looking to expand our work into areas like defense infrastructure, network resilience, and post-disaster recovery. These are sectors where evidence-based forecasting and strategic modeling can really have a huge impact. We also see opportunities to support global recovery and development efforts, applying the same rigor we use domestically to help partners abroad build and rebuild smarter. From Ukraine to countries across Africa to Southeast Asia, there's a growing need for trusted modeling to inform transportation investments that promote equity, resilience, and regional stability from day one. We're a small team, but we deliver like a big one, trusted by agencies coast to coast that make models work in the real world.
Wow, thank you guys so much. It's clear that Insight isn't just a technical team, It's a translational team. You turn theory into strategy and data into decisions. Thank you, Dave, Ashu, Sujit, and Haley for sharing your vision with us. For those listening in who care about forecast accuracy, modeling integrity, and smarter planning, Insight is the kind of partner you want. For those listening, whether you're inside of that federal space or looking to build a smart public sector partnerships, or you need a partner who understands policy and people, Insight Transportation Consulting is the firm to watch. You can learn more at insighttransportationconsulting.com